We're talking actors and directors who put on the shows.
We're talking playwrights and designers who you'll want to know.
From the very first rehearsal to the final curtain call.
We might be off Broadway, but we're talking about it all.
'Cause we're two local gals
With global pals, it's everything, everything, everything theater.
with Benita
And Ellen. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Everything Theater Podcast, the podcast where we talk about
Everything theater. Hi there, gang. I'm Benita Zahn, who's having all kinds of technical problems. So
and I'm Ellen Cribbs, and that's what happens on a virtual podcast.
that's right. So everybody, we're a year in. I cannot believe we've gotten to this point so fast. I mean, I know that you probably all, because if you're listening to the podcast, odds are you've seen that the cartoon, the video meme, whatever you want to call it. It's not a meme, but normal people who've seen Wicked waiting for part two, and they go, oh, it's going to be a year for part two. Theater kids waiting for Wicked a year from now. 525,600 minutes. So I know that's how long it's been since we've seen and Patrick White, but it doesn't feel like it. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
A little
it went
music
by
going.
quick.
Yeah, and our listeners, if you're new to the podcast, this is our annual end of year wrap up. And it's lovely to have you guys. This is like our fifth one of this.
It could be,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
I think we're. Yes.
So
If
what's
you're
the
just here for a moment, I'm still playing with the computer.
what's the state of theater this year, guys? What changes have you seen? What's exciting? What's new?
It was a great year for theater. Both local, the shows that we saw, down in the city, and around the region as well.
I'm going
Yeah.
to ask one quick question. A year ago, the big issue was, and the year before, happy, 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 fun stuff. Audiences want to delight. Now, go into everything you've seen. Are we still seeing lots of happy, happy, or are we getting back to a little more of that?
Well,
Now that I'm looking at my list, it's not happy, happy, happy stuff.
yeah, we were just down a couple of weeks ago and we saw 3 shows in a day. We had a 2:00 performance, shows centered around death in some way. And there was comedy within them, there was humor within them, but there's definitely a COVID play, of an attention to at least what we are doing while we are alive, and an intentionality about what we're doing here on this earth. There's also some silly stuff, but I noticed Jesse Green today in the New York Times pointed out in his review of Cult of Love, he pointed out all the comedy going on Broadway. Oh, Mary, Death Becomes Her, in different ways of approaching comedy and laughter. But yeah, there's a little bit of everything. As far as a trend, I noticed there is a lot of off-Broadway houses that have closed or people are moving. Second Stage lost the Tony Kaiser Theater. The Connolly Theater in the Lower East Side is under some sort of hold because of the Catholic Church. There's another theater that closed. Oh, Soho Rep on Walker Street. They lost their space. They're moving in to Playwrights Horizons. Manhattan Theater Club is using the Second Stage space, the Signature Theater space. So there's that kind of constriction. At the same time, commercial off-Broadway is doing really well. We saw Hold On to Me, Darling, big gay jamboree. Teeth had a commercial off-Broadway run. So, it's hard to figure, but it seems to be the nonprofits were being squeezed this year.
Hmm.
That's not really a big surprise.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I know, I used to bring this up all the time when people talked about real estate and like finding a theater in Saratoga. I believe the Manhattan Class Company, that they have a space in an apartment building on the west side, that there are some ordinances where if you want to build, real estate, that you have to include some sort of cultural space within your building. And, that certainly that would be something, with the power of all of us getting together and advocating with the Capital Region Festival of Theater, that'd be a lovely thing to tackle.
But we also saw a big we saw a lot of closures on mainstream Broadway this year. There was like a weekend or a week where some ridiculous amount of shows closed all at
Yeah.
once.
Yeah, I think it's kind of unusual for the number of shows that are closing in December.
So, well, I'm curious. Benita mentioned Wicked, the movie, which I've been so tied up with my own show, I haven't had a chance to even see it yet. But I was just talking to some theater people the other day, and they said, well, maybe this big musical movie success looks like it's going to be nominated for a decent amount of awards. It's getting out there. How much of an impact do you guys think that's going to have on theater, live theater, and theater being converted to the film format?
Well, it's certainly helping Wicked. um, they they did nearly $3 million on Broadway last week, and they're in their 22nd year. Uh, so it's helping them.
And I also think it's also attractive to younger people too. Um, and if that gets them interested in seeing more theater, then I think that's a great thing. And it really is, the movie is impressive.
Yeah, and anytime you get like this multi-million-dollar push, the hottest thing in the pop universe, then yeah, it's all good for theater. Yeah, absolutely. It's got all kids involved. Kids are gonna, want to study theater and fill up the dance classes, and want to bring, want to go to Proctor's, and yeah, I think it's all great. Want to do the Wizard of Oz in summer camp.
I think we're going to see a lot of that this summer. And
Yeah,
how about though for because that's I feel musicals are always the easier sell, right? So for the straight plays, is there any equivalent to that? When a straight play gets turned into a movie, do people even realize that it's a play? I don't know. Any thoughts on that?
I have a hard time thinking of the last like major play turned into a movie with impact. I mean,
And it feels like every time they do that, if you remember the play, I tend to be disappointed slightly by whatever the movie is.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know that that's really similar anymore. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm just always curious, as someone who does mostly straight plays, I'm always thinking like, what, how do you get the same buzz, right? As like musicals tend to get from the mass public, that it's like, look at this fun dancey show with music, versus like
Well,
a philosophical show that you're going to sit through.
that's an interesting question. And, from your position at Albany Civic Theater, I mean, the two of us were in the minutes this past year, and I was really surprised at the way that that sold.
Yeah.
And there were houses that I had not seen at Albany Civic Theater in quite some time. And I was like, how did this, get
Take off like that.
Yeah.
how did this penetrate, and people picked up on it? What were they reacting to? And the same thing with your Pillow Man auditions. The play had not it was done once up here, but it seemed like, you know, all the auditioners knew the play and were
Yeah.
reacting and jumped on it. So, there are plays that somehow get through.
Yeah. Yes, that's a question I've been asking myself of as artistic director. Like, what did we do right with the minutes that we can
Yeah,
replicate, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I do think plays now also are using elements that a lot of them are using elements that you would find in a musical. Plays that have magical realism in it, or that they are more have an abstract structure to them. They're doing a lot of inventive things that I think is exciting, and it's things that I think draw audience in more.
You guys can hear me and see me now, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Technology. But that brings me to the point. Everyone, the younger, look, theater et al. Has been struggling with how to attract a younger audience, because the tried and true theater goers are moving to Florida or dying. We have to do something, but the younger audiences, the way they consume entertainment is different. And what they expect from entertainment is different. And the go, go, go of it that you were just alluding to. So theater has to adapt to that in some fashion. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, we try to select, for our own season, for Harbinger season, shows that have a little something to them, it's not always, easy and sweet and nice, but also have, something contemporary about them, and have something that's sort of urgent about them. So, I think that's I think that's something that's more attractive to a younger audience. I don't know that they want a cozy mystery. That's the thing that's going to do it for them.
It's something that someone said, about the traditional style of theater. What are you going to do? Just act at me? And like the younger audiences, perhaps they want to interact. They want the immersive experience, like Sleep No More, or something where they don't turn off their cell phones. That they want to tag people and go through it, and become part of the experience. Whether it's I think there was a Midsummer Night's Dream in Boston that ran for a very long time, and it was in a disco, and it was really like a club feeling. And we've seen a couple of shows like that. Here Lies Love was really like a night at the club, and the story took place all around you. That was a couple of years ago. Wasn't there another? Well, we started the year off in London with Guys and Dolls, which you were surrounded by the story.
Did they pull them in?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It's been running for 2 years, and London doesn't run like Broadway runs.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm going to go back to what I've been doing, two productions of it, of doing Sheer Madness. And, that show's been around more than 40 years because it's a hint of immersive, but really because it involves the audience.
No, it's immersive in the whole second act. The audience is, engaged in participating. The audience
Yeah.
is participating.
Right. And we had we had two young fellas in the house in Massachusetts who, in some ways, the cast was like, ugh, because they found the humor very differently, and they were using their phones, and they were talking amongst themselves rather than as proscribed by the script. So it speaks to what you were just sharing, Patrick.
Yeah.
But that doesn't really work, though.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
that brings up the question, like there are all the people who react to audience members singing in the theater, and it's like you have chosen to do a musical with these top 40 artists that we have grown up with singing in the car, in the shower, like the natural response, Sweet Caroline is used in ball stadiums, and to a certain degree, you've marketed these musicals towards a sing along. You brought people in who know the music by heart and do karaoke. And you can say, well, you have to know, where you are or something, but it's like, I don't know. You kind of have already broken down and it's like, it's almost like it's too late to to say, you can't sing.
well, listen, there's a whole load of there's backlash to them singing at the movie Wicked.
Yeah.
We didn't personally experience that when we went to see it. There was nobody singing along with the movie. I know that there are special showings where people are invited to sing along.
I think they started on Christmas Day.
Yeah. Probably as a response, right, to all the complaints.
Well, another marketing tool.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, let's go back to Shakespearean time. The audience was very involved.
Sure.
Yeah.
So really,
Yeah, and they had the best.
I'm sorry.
They had the best vantage point. They were up against the stage, and they and the players had to deal with them.
So is this everything old is new again? And now we're back to that?
Yeah, well, if you want an active participatory audience, an audience that is fired up, an audience that, responds viscerally, you can't then say, but not that way.
Too much.
We didn't want that.
No, I'm curious because just keep it on the clock as always. What were some of the highlights of this year for you guys? What were some top picks, top experiences? Anything you want to share?
We loved a one-man show in Chester called Unreconciled. It was performed by the writer Jay Sefton, and it was about his experiences as a 13-year-old altar boy who was chosen to play Jesus in the Passion Play, and he was abused by his parish priest. And he did, a dozen characters, including his abuser and his parents and other boyhood friends. But he was just
riveting. It was riveting theater. I mean, it was like, I didn't want it to end, actually. It was amazing.
He won a Berkey for that.
Yes, he did. He won two. He
Yep.
won two Berkeys. Yeah, I think best new play and best solo show. Yeah,
And
he should have won three.
yeah. He just finished acclaimed, and I had the good fortune to see him over at the Majestic
Yes.
in The Moons of the Misbegotten. The show.
I
Yeah.
went, I went up to him. I went up to him at the Berkeys and I said, "I'm playing James Tyrone next week." And he was like, "Oh my gosh, we have to compare notes." And he sent me an email, the Jim Tyrone Club. Yes, it's
He is
me.
one of the nicest people.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
And
yes. We love that. What else you got on there?
I as far as another far away as opposed to local, The Welkin was a great play that we saw this year. And then there was another play about an alcoholic called The White Ship.
That was also great. We saw a play, a musical, Dead Outlaw. It's by David Yazbek, who did The Full Monty and The Band's Visit. And it's about an outlaw who gets killed in an Oklahoma bank robbery. And he spends the next 40 years as a corpse traveling around to carnivals and being sold and pawned off. And he's an attraction. Like, come see Elmer McCurdy. And he's finally discovered in a Los Angeles amusement park by the producers of the $6 Million Man. And it's got this, yeah. It's got this country folk rock driving score. It's really a lot of fun. We loved it.
And then local stuff. 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee at Steamer 10 was great. We also liked Berta at
Black Theater
Black Theater Troupe.
Yes, with Sadrina.
it was wonderful.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest that Confetti did at the Shaker Historical Site. I love Siobhan Shea's direction. She takes a situation and just comes up with these imaginative, creative, completely compelling stage-worthy pictures. I just think she's really great, and she's always thinking outside the box, which that play was done in the round.
And I don't know, did you see Griswold down at Bridge Street?
No.
No.
That was great. A woman who fought the Supreme Court. Yeah, and it was timely as well. We saw a production out at the Provincetown Tennessee Williams Festival of Suddenly Last Summer, directed by Brenda Geffers, who has worked with Troy Foundry Theater and her company from Philadelphia, Diecast. It was done in a Unitarian church, and all the actors in the production, came down the center aisle, and it was as if they were preparing a mass, and they sat on the altar, and as the story took place, they came down and participated in it, and they cast against gender lines, and it was really stunning.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we saw it with Dale Conklin and Pat Brady. Pat Brady played Mrs. Venable in a production of Suddenly Last Summer I directed at ACT in 2006. So
Wow.
that was fun.
I don't know. I can't see the clock because I'm all technical stuff here. I want to just throw 3 things out to everybody. David Gerard and his one-man show of A Christmas Carol. For Troy done it, if he does it again next year, I highly recommend audiences go see it. It's inventive, and his performance is fabulous. And a shout out to Annabelle Duffy, who was a Playhouse kid and all graduated and now is understudying Fanny Bryce in Funny Girl, and made her debut in that in Denver. And the show is coming to Proctor's in April 1 through 6, and she may just get a chance to be on stage here for that. And bravo, fabulous, great young woman, great voice, great stage presence. Also want to give some props to Charlie Franklin, who will be appearing in Floyd Collins. when that opens. Also, Happy McPartland.
I'm really
who
looking
we-
forward to Floyd Collins.
Me too. I was
Yeah.
so excited to hear about it, and then to see that like Jeremy Jordan's in it. I went to school with Jeremy, and it's like I can't wait. I'm so excited.
All right, road trip, kids.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, definitely. And I want to say Christmas Story at Cahoe's Music Hall is a fantastic production. It's still running through this weekend, starring Ellen Cribbs. Playhouse Stage had an amazing year, from Spring Awakening, Legally Blonde, and Christmas Story just tops it off. It's a perfect blend of kids and students coming back to the area, and adults, the professionals in the area. It's just a great, great production.
And I want to say that one of my honorable mentions for this year was your Agnes of God up at Fort Salem. I really enjoyed that. I love that play to begin with, so I feel kind of picky about it, attached to it. But I thought it was a tremendous production and very moving.
And I'm not blowing smoke, but your reading of Love, Loss, and What I Wore, I named as a favorite production because I love the way that your cast has carried the production on through each other's production and their support of each other. And it's not just what happens in the theater, but what you take out of the theater and bring and nurture throughout, and I saw that a bunch of them came to Springfield to see you, and I know that it just goes on and on. Tiffany and Sadrina are in Christmas Carol right now at Curtain Call, but Janine and Sheila and Mariah and who am I missing?
Laura.
Ellen.
Laura Ra.
Ellen somebody.
Laura Ra.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Sadrina, Tiffany, and I have all like shed tears that we can't see each other because we had the exact same run as our show.
Yes.
And these
Yes.
back together. So we can't. But we still have our little text going.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
They were. It was an honor to direct these women, and you guys know as directors, and Ellen, you know this, and anyone who does, I want to tip my hat to all of you who managed to bring together a cast, however it happened. But you catch lightning in a bottle with the performances and the connections that the actors make. It's a blessing.
Yeah. I think it's it's a magical thing. They all bring something into the work, and they pick something up from the playwright as well, and it just all channels together and works in a fantastic way. Like we're all there for the same reason. And it just one more. We finally got to see Kathleen Carey on the rep stage in Sweat. How much it meant to her, but it was a beautiful production, and we just loved her falling down drunk. It was great to see her so happy, and such a great production.
Bravo. Well, guys, in a couple of days, you're going to start your list for 2025. And
Yes.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
It's going to be a beautiful year.
Real quickly as a send off, any particular projects that you're like really looking forward to that one in 2025?
We just got the rights
To our season, it took very long this time to get all the rights together.
5 months. But we waited, we were patient, and we got the rights to a show that's actually got a production coming up in February at the Public Theater off Broadway, a play called Deep Blue Sound by Abe Kugler. It was done by Club Thumb at the Wild Project in the summer of 2023. And that's going to be at Steamer 10, a new venue for us, in September. And we are doing At the Wedding, which coincides with Pride and the Capital Region Festival of Theater. That's going to be at Sand Lake Center for the Arts Chris is directing that. I'm directing Between Riverside and Crazy at Albany Civic Theater in July. Deep Blue Sound at Steamer 10 in September. And then Swing State by Rebecca Gilman.
Fantastic play.
Yeah, awesome writer. I don't know that she's been done in the area. She's very big in Chicago. We got the rights to that, and that was just done in 2023. All 4 are Capital Region premieres. Yeah, we're very excited.
Awesome. So go
Can't
see
wait.
that theater, everyone. Yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you guys again. We'll see you in year 6 of our end year wrap up. For our listeners, thanks for hanging in
Maybe
there
we
with
should all
us.
get together that time.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys, so much. Looking forward to your shows and whatever else everybody else is locally producing. So here's to a great 2025.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Once on This Island by Black Theater Troupe.
Yes. Yep.
Happy holidays and see you in the new year.
Yeah, we'll see everybody in the new year. Thanks for listening. Happy holidays. I'm Ellen Cribbs.
And I'm Benita Zahn. Be well.
Thank you so much for listening to the Everything Theater podcast. Special thanks goes out to Alice Grinling for our photography and Justin Friello for composing our amazing theme song. Please remember to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you want to share your thoughts or what's going on in your theater community, you can reach out to us on social media or through our email at everythingtheaterpodcast@gmail.com. Till next time, it's everything, everything, everything.